think it was Rory Stewart was talking about how he was being critical of Israel, saying that Benjamin Netanyahu has talked about talked about Iran being a nuclear threat for 20 years, and that's not accurate. Netanyahu's been talking about Iran as a supposed nuclear threat for 35 years, but the way that Rory Stewart put it in this very widely seen podcast implies that the security concerns were somehow legitimate and came out of a post 9/11 world. That's not the case. Benjamin Netanyahu's just been a complete lunatic for 35 years and has had these paranoid fantasies for that length of time. And similarly with the LBC show that I saw yesterday, they were somehow making the question. It was the most mangled logic you could imagine, which was, can we condemn Israel for what it's done in Gaza at the same time as saying it had a legitimate point in attacking Iran? I mean, that goes back to your point about the Greater Israel. You can dance around on a head of a pin, but at the end of the day, Israel is a very dangerous, aggressive force in the Middle East, and it has been for a long time. And that is just like a chunk of rock. That is just staying there like that. And all these media pundits and the mainstream of British news can try and talk themselves into and out of a plastic bag about it. But at the end of the day, we all know what the facts are here. Israel has been the aggressor in this conflict, as it was the aggressor, and it still is the aggressor in Gaza. It's an extremely dangerous situation, not just for Iran, although obviously they're on the receiving end of that at the moment and should have our most sympathies, but for Israel as well, the wider Middle East, and all of our lives. Our lives will be made worse in this country by the consequences of what is happening here. I can only hope that there are negotiations that can try and tamp this down. But the White House is looking at the best very, very incompetent at handling this. I think that Donald Trump appears to have jumped on these attacks rhetorically, kind of claiming, I knew everything, I am God, and all these kind of things. I think probably he was a bit out of the loop and a bit clueless as to what to do. And one of the things that's so unfortunate about it is that, of course, there were negotiations literally that were planned for, yesterday? 2 days ago? Sunday. And they could well have